our noon show, and Liv Johnson is our meteorologist here at Fox 5 News. So tell us and break down exactly what our weather is going to be like today and this week.
Okay, so it's mostly cloudy right now. Do we have any live pictures available?
Yes.
Right now yeah, still dealing with some haze.
Nice.
A little cooler than yesterday. And this, a future cast. So it's going to be mainly cloudy for our Wednesday, but then tomorrow, mainly clear skies. We might still have a little bit of haze in the morning.
Okay.
It's a little cooler, though, today, tomorrow, Friday. A little bit more humid, but cooler temperatures overall. Here's our 7-day.
That.
So it heats up pretty decently by Sunday, 88 degrees, pretty humid, and then Monday back up to the 90s. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the low 80s shouldn't be too bad.
Nice.
More sunshine tomorrow. We do have another air quality alert, but New Jersey's out of it, New York City's out of it, Long Island, Connecticut finally out of it, but the Hudson Valley's still struggling with some pretty high AQI numbers, and ours aren't completely ideal right now.
Okay.
But not enough to warrant an air quality alert, and it's pretty cool right now.
Is it humid outside? I can't remember when I walked inside. It's like a little sticky. I know, I just walked inside. But so focused on getting here.
I know, you have a lot to do today. It's the dew point temperatures, we don't have any of them right now. They're going to be higher today and through the end of the week than definitely last weekend.
Nice.
But it's not, you know what, I can just look it up right now. So I have the most up-to-date information for what our dew point temperature is.
I think a lot of people too are wondering, when's that last day? When should we be wrapping? Because I realized, this morning I was I haven't been to the beach yet, here in New York at least, since summer started. So how long do we have left, do you think, for a beach? All of August probably?
Yeah, I'd say August is usually, remember last September too? It was in the 70s every day. It was gorgeous. Yeah. Sunday's definitely a good beach day because it's 88. Nice. Of course it'll be a little cooler for those coastal areas, but Sunday would be a good day to escape to the beach because it's going to be really hot and humid.
Okay.
And then the dew point temperature right now is 66. So that's okay. That's okay. Really is what I would say. It's not. That's when it starts to feel humid. So a little bit sticky out there. It'll be more humid on that day, on Sunday. The day that I'm saying is a good beach day. Try to escape a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, and then our AQI is in the 80s, which is not too bad. It's moderate. Okay. Better than it was yesterday at this time.
Okay, that's great. I know last year I think it was last year, right, that we struggled with some of the wildfires that were coming through.
Well, every year, honestly, every summer. Canada has so many wildfires. And then I talked a lot yesterday about the wind shift. So yesterday we were getting, for the beginning of the day we had northerly winds. So obviously bringing the air from Canada, they shifted from the east. So that's why we're getting more humid conditions, getting some more water. Wow. And then also that's helping us not have as much of those smoke particles. But still, is it bad to be outside today if you have asthma? Nice. If you're up in the Hudson Valley, that's where the air quality alert is. Really, the Poconos, the Catskills. For New York City, not particularly a bad day to be outside if you have asthma. I just wouldn't do anything too strenuous.
That's tough. I know, especially people with allergies as well. Sometimes when the air quality, my mom's really bad at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to be outside. But that's good to know. It's not horrible today.
Yeah.
And then next week, it seems like it spikes back up again a little bit.
I know.
The 90s again.
Back into the 90s by Monday. But this week is so comfortable in terms of temperatures.
It has been.
And we just had that 7-day forecast up. So low 80s for the next couple of days. And right now, we're mainly in the perfect temperatures. 76 for Long Island and New York, 74 for Hartford, 75 for Poughkeepsie. So it's really mostly a comfortable day. Those dew point temperatures aren't too bad right now. Probably will climb a little bit, but still not. Last week when we had the heat wave, temperatures in the 90s plus dew point temperatures in the 70s, that was a very lethal duo. Yeah. But yeah, today we'll also be helped out a little bit by the cloud cover. And then you see on our Futurecast right now, this is Friday, clear skies. Thursday, we also have clear skies. So Thursday, Friday would be really good for outdoor plans, even in the evening. And then Saturday, too. Saturday's a good day outside. Sunday is just a hot day outside. So you can make outdoor plans.
Yeah.
There's a chance of a stray shower that day.
Oh.
But yeah, overall it's not too bad. There's that air quality alert map again.
We did get a lot of rain, I feel like, in June. I feel like June was
Yes.
like our rainy. I feel like every
Yes.
Saturday I tried to go out, it was raining.
May and June, yes. Oh, there was some stat, I forget, but just like how many weekends in a row we had rain.
Oh my
But
gosh.
we've been pretty lucky the past few weeks. July wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying, and it hasn't been, I feel like, oppressively hot as much lately. But I mean, it looks like possibly next week it could get back up to the 90s, where you're like stepping outside and you're like,
I know, avoiding the subway and stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's the
but
hard part.
I mean, our average number of heat waves is 2, and we've
Okay.
already had 2.
That's
So I
great.
wouldn't rule. There's a possibility. Is it hard to make sure your weather report is right? Yeah. Yes, it is. Thanks for asking. Especially in the summer, the hardest part is predicting showers and thunderstorms and telling people where it's going to happen, because on our futurecast, they'll change hourly.
Yeah.
And we can do our best to look at what the conditions are outside, but predicting the future is really tough. And I try to keep it a little bit more broad, because in the summertime, it really is like a shower will pop up in Suffolk County, but not Nassau County. It'll be in the West Village, but not the East Village. So I got a call last week. Do you make the weather graphics yourself, Liv? Yes, it's kind of a mix. Like the Futurecast that's running right now, I didn't create that, but I will choose the timing and where there might be pauses and stuff like this. And then the 7-day forecast, when we have it on air, we put in all the different temperatures ourselves, and then also the descriptions. So there's no descriptions in this graphic right now, but we usually do have a description, like rain, humid, nice, whatever, just like a short description.
Yeah.
And then these are made automatically based on where the alerts are, but we have to click what watches and warnings we want. And yeah, we create a lot of our own graphics. I made a few yesterday to explain sunrise and sunset, but
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah.
And your whole outlook on this is so much more scientific. But even the weather app, I feel like on our phone does such a bad job lately of like when they have those surprise showers, for example. Like I was looking at my phone the other day when there was like randomly like that like huge shower that was like pouring down. I think it was like last week, and I was like, my weather app did not tell me at all about that. But you guys had a little bit better of a heads up. Just because
we have a way better heads up for that. I mean, temperature-wise, like I'll check the weather app because, I mean, who cares if I say it's 85 and the app says it's 87? Like, you know, what's the difference? But it's a lot worse for rain or like snow or even flooding and things like that. But
I can see that.
Speaking of, I need to go make my graphics and such. So I'll be on the noon show, y'all.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to talk about what we're going to be talking about in our noon show today. So hang with us, and we'll be back momentarily. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Morgan, I miss you so much.
You did so good. Hey everybody, it's Morgan McKay again here in the Fox 5 newsroom, and we're just going to talk a little bit first briefly about what we're going to be tackling in our noon show today. Today, our reporter, Stephanie Bertini, she's going to be breaking down, and she's actually there at a rally in Midtown today. And she's going to be speaking with different organizers about the recent death of another carriage horse named Lady. And she's going to be breaking down just some of the concerns from animal advocates and also carriage drivers, just kind of breaking down the issue and why it has become so controversial. Then our reporter Arthur Chian, he's also today going to be speaking about that horrific mass shooting that happened in Midtown Manhattan that killed 4 people, including that NYPD officer. And he's going to be speaking about new information regarding that case, especially the shooter's mother and about her alleged concerns about the shooter and 911 calls as well. He's going to be bringing you guys the latest information on all of that and what really rocked our city when that happened. So as for me, today I'm going to be going out and speaking one-on-one with the Democratic mayoral candidate, Zohran Mamdani, who's going to be speaking in Far Rockaway, and he's going to be looking at and speaking about small businesses and his plan for small businesses in New York City. That includes he wants to appoint a mom and pop czar, which would help small businesses get through some of that red tape when it comes to applying for permits and such. He also wants to cut fines and fees for small businesses by 50%. So we're going to be speaking to him about his plan, how he wants to do this, and what he's going to do when it comes to how he's going to pay for it. So just to give a quick update on the mayor's race right now, in case you didn't know, Zohran Mamdani won the Democratic primary. We also have in the running the Republican candidate, Curtis Sliwa. Then former Governor Andrew Cuomo, he lost the Democratic primary, but he's still running as an independent anyway. We also have Mayor Eric Adams, who wasn't able to run in the Democratic primary because he was dealing with the now dropped criminal charges that he was facing. He's now running as an independent. And then we also have another independent candidate, Jim Walden. Today, the Campaign Finance Board distributed public matching funds, and that's when candidates here in the city, if they raise a certain amount, they can get another that amount matched in public matching dollars, tax dollars. So today, Zohran Mamdani, he was able to receive, I'm going to pull it up here. He received in public matching funds $1.6 million today. Curtis Sliwa, he received $1.9 million. He actually received the most in public matching funds today. Then also Jim Walden, he received $237,000. And then the Campaign Finance Board denied Mayor Adams his public matching funds again today. And that's because they want Adams' campaign to turn over certain documents related to the criminal investigation against him. If you remember, Adams was charged with corruption and bribery charges by the U.S. attorney last year, alleging that he illegally solicited illegal campaign donations from businesses and also foreign entities. Now, the campaign fine, although those charges were dropped, the Trump Justice Department had those charges dropped, requested that those charges dropped. It caused a bit of a commotion earlier this year, if you'll remember, when the Justice Department asked for those charges to be dropped. There was about, I think, 7 prosecutors who resigned in the U.S. Attorney's Office rather than drop those charges. And 4 of Adams' deputy mayors also resigned because there was a lot of allegations that Adams worked with the Trump administration, sort of a quid pro quo to get those charges dropped. That's something both Adams and his lawyers have denied. However, The judge even said that there seemed to be some sort of deal because the Justice Department, when they were asking for these charges to be dropped, they were very clear that they weren't looking at the actual charges themselves, but they said that they wanted they needed Adams' help when it comes to Trump's immigration policies. And they also said it was unfair to charge a candidate this close to an election. So the judge had a big hearing. He even had a lawyer, an independent attorney, sort of argue against having these charges dropped. But he, in the end, decided to have these charges dropped because the Justice Department was the one bringing these charges forward. So if they're dropping the charges, it kind of doesn't leave much wiggle room. So now Adams, even though he had these charges dropped, the Campaign Finance Board says they still want these documents turned over because they said they have a different threshold that they judge all of this stuff on rather than just the court. So they said they want to look at some of these documents, and so far the Adams campaign is taking them to court, and they're battling this out in court right now. And a statement from his campaign spokesperson said today that they, quote, strongly disagree with the Campaign Finance Board's decision and reject both the tone and substance of its statement. They continued, quote, Mayor Adams has always run campaigns with the highest standards of integrity, transparency, and adherence to the law, spanning nearly 40 years of public service and political leadership. At no point has this campaign attempted to mislead, withhold, or obstruct the work of the CFB. In fact, our team has cooperated fully, responding in good faith to every request and submitting the required documentation in a timely manner. But that's not quite what the Campaign Finance Board was saying today, so we'll have to see how that works itself out, both here and in the courts. Now, Andrew Cuomo also did not get public matching funds. We weren't able to get a statement from his campaign in time for this, but the problem Cuomo is facing right now is a lot of his donors have actually now either turned to support Adams, or they've even potentially looked at Mamdani or Curtis Lewa. He has lost a lot of the support that he had, and I recently asked his campaign to send me exactly who is supporting him at this point, and they didn't get that to me. But right now, a lot of the unions that were supporting him have left him to now support Mamdani, and a lot of his big backers have also left him after his defeat in the primary. So we're going to be looking at the mayor's race today and diving deep in. Oh, we've got questions. I love questions. Throw them in. What is a public matching fund? That's a great question. So a public matching fund is when a campaign raises, let's say $25 and I'm going to get my math wrong here. So actually I'm going to pull it up because it's confusing. But pretty much it's when a candidate raises a certain amount of money, they then get matched in taxpayer dollars for that money that they were able to raise. And this is done in order to encourage small donors, is trying to remove big money from races. The kind of downfall of this, though, is that campaigns still have super PACs, which they aren't technically allowed to coordinate on, but big businesses can still donate millions of dollars even to a campaign's super PAC, like we saw in the primary with Cuomo. For example, former Mayor Bloomberg donated around $8 million to the super PAC supporting Cuomo. But the intention of the public matching fund is for these small donors to donate to campaigns. And we saw this with Mamdani's campaign. These small donors donate to their campaign, and then they get public matching funds in return. And Mamdani was the first one to reach his public matching fund threshold in the primary because he got so many small donations. So it really encourages, again, small donations from a lot of different people to really show the support that they have among the public. But I'm going to get a full breakdown of that here. Because it's kind of a certain limit. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Sorry about that. Okay. So they must. And on top of being a part of this public matching program, they also have to participate in debates. They also have to submit regular finance reports as well. But let's see. So, thresholds. So, for example, I think it's about like $10. If you raise about $10, you could get up to about $90 in public matching funds. So it's like, it's for even a small donation, you get back quite a bit in public matching funds, and that again could really help a campaign.
Another one?
Oh, another one. How can so many people run in one general election? That's a great question. This is pretty unprecedented what we're seeing right now. Usually once a Democratic primary, especially in cities like New York, usually, once a Democratic primary is over, you have a pretty clear sense of who's going to be mayor. This race is so different for so many different reasons, and mainly because we had Adams, who decided to not run in the Democratic primary, the incumbent mayor. He decided not to run in the Democratic primary. He decided to run as an independent. And the last time a mayor lost re-election was actually David Dinkins, the city's first black mayor. But he was really like, he could have run in the Democratic primary, but he chose not to because he was battling that criminal corruption case. So he decided to run in the general election, but still a lot of people thought it was just going to be Mamdani if he won the Democratic primary, whoever won the Democratic primary, Mayor Adams. You've got Jim Walden, who is this independent candidate, but doesn't have quite as much support, and then Curtis Sliwa. But then Cuomo also decided, even though he lost the primary by double digits, he then also decided to run on this independent ballot line that he collected signatures for. And he is now also going to be on the ballot in November. So it is still just as hectic of a race as it was in the primary, dealing with 5 candidates. It probably shouldn't have been this packed. But it's definitely something that people are going to be taking away, lessons are going to be taking away from for a while, and just how, these candidates, even though they lost the primary, are now running on an independent ballot line. So we're going to have to see how it all works. Who is leading in the polls? So right now, Mamdani is leading in the polls. He's also leading against even some one-on-one matchups. So sort of the thing right now is Cuomo and Adams are trying to encourage each other to drop out of the race. Cuomo wants Adams to drop out of the race, and Adams wants Cuomo to drop out of the race. So they don't split that anti-Mamdani vote, because they run into an issue, and some people even spoke about it. They run into an issue if you have all the Democrats splitting their votes between Adams, Cuomo, Mamdani, maybe even Jim Walden. Then you're allowing, for example, the Republican candidate, Curtis Sliwa, to come in with that strong Republican support and potentially become mayor. But right now, as it's looking, Mamdani has such strong support as it is right now that even if they all stay in the race, he has a really clear shot of getting 50%, which is that threshold that he needs to be mayor, almost right away. And then the most recent poll also looked up at individual matchups. So let's say Cuomo were to drop out, a matchup between him and Adams has him still pretty far ahead. And then if Adams were to drop out, the matchup between him and Cuomo is, he's still far ahead, but it's a little bit of a tighter race. But we're going to have to see. It's still 3 months away from the Democratic primary, so we're going to have to see kind of how, especially as events take shape throughout our city, as we saw with the Midtown shooter last week, just how things can quickly change in a mayoral race. Why does Curtis Sliwa always wear that red hat? So he was he formed the Guardian Angels, which was kind of a group that would go around and combat crime, and they wore these red berets. He said, though, that if he were to win the election, he would actually take off his red hat, his red beret, which kind of shocked some people because it's his signature look for sure. But he is hoping to be taken more seriously right now in the next couple of months, because he has been taking it off more regularly, actually, at press conferences. He says that he doesn't want the red beret to stop people from voting for him. So he's been taking it off more, especially when he goes in for some of these bigger business meetings. Awesome. Who is Trump endorsing? President Donald Trump isn't endorsing anybody right now. He obviously is very against Zoran Mamdani, calls him a socialist and says that he's going to ruin the city. And he has also even threatened that if Mamdani becomes mayor, that there's going to be some sort of retribution against New York City if Mamdani does something out of line. So we're going to have to see kind of what that means if Mamdani were to win. But Trump isn't endorsing anyone particularly. Curtis Sliwa isn't necessarily your typical Republican. He has made a lot of distance between himself and Trump. So Trump isn't endorsing Curtis Sliwa necessarily at this moment, but a lot of Republicans, a lot of the Republican clubs, and a lot of the Republican lawmakers are endorsing Curtis Sliwa. Isn't Zoran Mamdani kind of young to be mayor? He would be the youngest mayor in New York City. He's 33 years old. If elected, he would be the youngest mayor. He is very young. He was a state assemblyman, or he currently is a state assemblyman, and he is a very young mayor. Now, if you ask Mamdani about this and about his lack of experience, maybe managing and running a city, he says that it's not necessarily about what he can do, but it's also about the people that he brings in. So he has said that if he is elected, he's going to bring in a whole team of people who are really knowledgeable about the city, that know their way around. And you're kind of seeing it a little bit right now just within his campaign. After he won the primary, he hired on a lot of maybe more establishment, centrist Democrats onto his team. He brought in some people from the Obama administration, from the National Democratic Committee, and less so the Democratic Socialists, which is something that he is a part of, and he calls himself a Democratic Socialist. But he hasn't necessarily brought on a lot more DSA members into his campaign. He's actually brought a little more of a wider group of people from a lot of different backgrounds as he looks at potentially transitioning into this mayoral role. So that's something he said, that he doesn't have all the answers. He has a lot of ideas, but if he were to become mayor, he would bring in people who know kind of more about the inner workings of government.
You have like a minute and a half. So
minute and a half. Perfect.
More questions, up to you.
I'll answer a quick one. Perfect. Can a mayor raise the minimum wage? The mayor cannot raise the minimum wage. That is up to the state legislature and Albany. So the state legislature would have to decide to raise the minimum wage, but that's not actually a far off promise to make. Governor Kathy Hochul has signaled that she potentially looking into possibly raising the minimum wage, especially if you were looking at some other proposals out there, like potentially raising it to like $20 an hour in New York City. That's something that's pretty doable, especially because I think it's about 50 cents off or so as it is. I think once it goes, the next roll out comes into effect. I might be messing this up a little bit, but it's not too far off of a promise to make with the campaign. I could see the state legislature working with whoever becomes mayor and raising the minimum wage. But that's not something necessarily that the mayor or even the city council can do. But thank you so much for everybody for joining me today. Hopefully we can answer more questions soon about the mayor's race. So thank you all for asking those questions. I appreciate it. So coming up in about 20 seconds here, we've got our noon show where we're going to be breaking down all the latest headlines and getting you guys started for the rest of your week. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.